Okay guys, welcome back. B is for Boost, and today, well, I'm gonna start a new project. So let me see here. We got the cheapest Camaro that we bought. We have like the 500 horsepower SRT, PT Cruiser, supercharged Camaro. And you go this way, you got like, I need another project, like I need a hole in my head. But if you're new to the channel, it's because of this project, not the Civic Ute, obviously. You are here because I'm claiming I can buy and build a kswap car for $2,000 American. That's a lot to ask. Now, I'm not talking no crappy K20 out of an RSX. That's, you know, that's been done. You can do that pretty easily. So we're gonna do a K24A2. We are going to do a manual. So if the car is an automatic, then we gotta swap it to manual. And we are going to do a bolt-on car. Let's have some fun with this. So if you're new to the channel, you haven't seen this car. Let me show you this car. So this was a 2005 Honda Civic coupe that I actually bought in the winter time for $700 originally. The motor was gone. I put a motor in it. I drove it all winter long. So if the motor was gone and I drove it all winter, how do I still have this car? Well, the girl that bought it off me hit a deer and I bought it back for $550. So this is the car I'm going to use. I'm going to K-swap this car and repair the front end for $2,000 American. So I bought it for $550 Canadian. I will do the exchange rate up top. So let's just say, I think 2,000 American should be about 2,300 Canadian. So let's do it that way. We can buy and build a car for 2,300 Canadian. So you're saying that's impossible. You know what? It might be that way, but this was $550 off our budget. But today we are gonna pull the motor because we sold the motor for $500, which means right off the bat, we have bought our car for 50 bucks. That's what we're gonna do it for. That's what we're gonna K-swap, $50. Now, you did see that it has some front end damage. It's gonna need a rad support, it's gonna need a hood, headlights, grille, bumper, all that jazz. Let me show you. So if you guys have not followed me, I like to build things on the cheap, i.e. my Turbo Civic Ute, we built on the cheap. So we're into that car for $50 now, done deal. What better thing to do is now we gotta find how we're gonna do this. So I ended up finding a Civic reverb. So I found two of them actually. This one's manual, this one's silver, which works out a lot better for what I need it for because I don't have to paint. That's even better for me. So here we are right here. As you can see, it's a complete car. This motor is gone, it's blown up. Plus, if you look at this one isn't in the best of shape body-wise compared to the other one. This one's a perfect candidate to be cut up because A, we have to fix the quarter panels for a little bit of rust. So why not cut it and then we can make this into a ute. So that's why we did this. Now, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I'm taking the bumper off of this. I'm taking the side skirts off of this. And I'm going to take the front bumper and the passenger side fender. Now our fender has a little bit of damage right here. This one doesn't. I figured that'd be the best point to do, and then it gives me the reverb kit. Which means it's not really too useful for most people. And if you can see, I put a piece of tape line here because I've been thinking about making a Civic Ute K-swap all-wheel drive. So if I'm doing that, obviously I can't use these parts. So we're gonna walk down here, guys, and you'll see on my trailer, we have two Em2s because this came with the other reverb. So we bought these two cars. Buddy was asking $1,000. I got the pair of them for $650 Canadian. Now that doesn't leave me much of a budget where I'm $50 into that. That's 700 bucks for these two cars. That's just giving me a rad support and some front end parts. But thankfully, this car still had a Cadillac converter on it, which was worth $580. So $580, we paid $650. That means we paid $80 for this car. $80 for these two cars. I haven't junked these cars yet, and I'm gonna part these cars out, which means right now our budget for this build, for buying 3 cars, the K-swap one, we're into it for $130. That's how we're gonna do this. We're gonna have to do this. I've been working on this for a bit. That car, I sold that car 5 months ago. I bought it back 2 months ago. It's been sitting there waiting for this project. Now, how are we gonna do this, you ask? I'm going to show you that afterwards. I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get that car in the garage, and we're going to start ripping out the rad support, pulling the motor out so I can get paid for that, because Buddy's picking that up today.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it.
To focus in, well, we can do a couple things. We can pull the transmission, we can start pulling the wiring out because we're not going to use any of that. You did notice I didn't break any of the wiring, so I'm going to sell that to help recoup some of the money back, since we are on a tight budget. Same with the header. Transmission, I doubt anyone's going to buy an auto transmission, so that's where we're at now. So the next thing we're going to have to do is this rad support needs to come off. It is what it is. So I think I'm just going to take the crash bar off, and then I can take off the bent headlight bracket that is bent, and then we can start drilling out the spot welds of the existing one that they did previously, and we're going to go from there. To be honest, I'm not looking forward to this. It's just going to be, if this has been changed once, the welds are going to be bigger. So with the rebar out of the way, you'll see that the headlight socket here is tore. Where it's resting on welds, I'm going to say that this probably was changed at one point in time. That's why it's rusty. Same with down there where it's split from the deer. That's part of the rad support. So I'm going to have to change that. More than likely, this whole headlight socket's going to have to be changed as well, which sucks because the rad support's here. Well, actually, it doesn't look to be too bad. It looks like it might be a weld in under here where they actually weld it too big. And then you get into here. They're going to be a couple in here, a couple up here to get that out. Unfortunately, I'm still on my iPhone because the GoPro, I don't know, new GoPro not working right. So I'm going to probably take this part off, show you guys along the way. And then what we're going to do is right now we're on the front part of my garage. So there's the neon up there that we're working on. We're probably going to put this in the back paint bay because it's going to need a lot of work in the engine bay. So yes, you know, I'm into this car for $50. That's really not that bad when you think about it. It is rust free. That's why we're fixing this one other than the other reverb that we have, because the other one had a little more work. It's the same amount of work. It just depends what you want. I picked this one because I think this one will show you guys that you guys can do this at home as well. Like, yeah, I could have used the rusty one out there that was just surface rust and then just sent it, and I'm into it for almost the same price. But I want to show you that we can do a K24A2 manual trans swap fairly easy for 2,300 Canadian, and I'm pretty sure we can do that. Now, mind you, we got to buy header. We're gonna have to buy some parts, so it's gonna, you know, it's gonna be tricky. But I'm pretty sure we can probably pull it off. So I think I'm gonna call it a quits on this for the day. I need to go get some flapper discs and a couple of drill bits to finish doing what I'm doing. But let me show you how far I got. So the upper rad support on this side is out. I need to get the flapper discs so I can grind that off, clean that up, make sure it's bent to where it needs to be. I got this started for the headlight socket, but I don't have no flapper discs to get in here. The upper's already off. That will pop off there, so that's quite easy. I didn't really look at the parts car yet, but I know if I go in like this, there's a weld there and a weld there, and that will take that off, and there's actually one in the center. So I haven't 100% decided how I'm going to tackle this yet. I'm going to wait to see what kind of shape it is when I pop this off, but technically I can do one of two things. I can drill out this bottom rad support, which looks like it only goes to here, but this is overlapping this piece and the inside. So what I might end up doing is just cleaning that up and boxing it in. So I'll just like lap weld it. So I'll put a piece of metal on the inside and outside. That way I don't have to change the center bar because the center bar is not damaged. I can drill it out up here. That will weld to the new existing one. This headlight socket looks good as well, so I don't gotta do nothing there other than clean up a lot of grease for when it comes time to paint. And I still gotta take this one off. Fender's gonna have to come off. I think what we're gonna end up doing is taking it in the back paint bay. That way we can pull the transmission as well, and we can start prepping this for our K24 swap.